All right, y'all. So I've been thinking, right? I've been thinking. Hear me out. Hear me out. So you know the whole chapter we got with Who's Who and Jinbei. You remember it was like right before Jinbei bodied him, and he was asking Jinbei about this sun god Nika, and everybody was like all in hubbub about it. And then like a few chapters later, something else cool happened, and we all forgot about it, and we just really haven't been talking about it. Yeah, there was a lot in that chapter that was important. I feel like we're missing out on something here. So shout out to the homie Awful Meta that was in my Twitch stream, my guy. He brought up something interesting. He says, Synsei in chapter 433, Helmeppo talks about how Vegapunk is tied to Luffy's devil fruit. And I said, no, he didn't. He didn't say that. And then I opened my handy dandy notebook, shout out to Blue's Clues, and I went to the Shonen Jump app and I went to chapter 433, and I'll be damned. Helmeppo says Vegapunk is a genius even when it comes to your fruit, and he was talking to Luffy. Today I want to discuss Luffy's fruit. Is it a special fruit because it was altered somehow? Does it have some important relevance to something in the story we don't know about? Or did someone of importance have it before Luffy? Why was Shanks and his crew trying to steal this fruit? And why was it in government protection? And why is Who's Who a bum? And why did he fail? I'm just kidding. But why is this fruit important? Is it important? That's the topic of today's video. But before we go any further, guys, we got to get the boring stuff out of the way. You know how it goes. If you like One Piece content, if you like this video, make sure you hit me with a like, man. I'd appreciate it. And if you want more content like this, make sure you subscribe. It's free. It's free. And even broke people can afford free. Unless you don't have thumbs. If you don't have thumbs, I'm sorry, but maybe hit it with your chin or something. I don't know. But if you want more One Piece content, make sure you subscribe. Turn the post notifications on, man. I'd appreciate it. Let's get straight into the video. The rubber fruit. The elastic fruit. The Mr. Fantastic fruit itself. Luffy eats this fruit when he's a child, and Lucky Roo freaks out. Something that I didn't realize was said until I went back to chapter 1 is that Lucky Roo says this was in possession of the enemy. Okay, let's start putting 2 and 2 together here. Because the question that we all had was, did they steal this fruit by chance or was it on purpose? And I think from Lucky Roo's words in chapter 1, this was on purpose. Because the fact that Helmeppo brings up in chapter 433 that Vegapunk had something to do with Luffy's fruit, and the fact that Lucky Roo in chapter 1 says this belonged to the enemy, this was definitely pinpointed. They were trying to get to this fruit on purpose. Why were they trying to get this fruit, and why was it in government protection? You may be thinking, Sin, there had been other devil fruits that were in government protection and they were trash fruits. Nobody cares about those fruits. So why is this one important? Well, I think this one's important, not because it was in government protection and not because it was traveling somewhere, but because Shanks himself and his Yonko crew went to try and steal this fruit. Now, at the time, they weren't a Yonko crew. I don't think they became a Yonko until after he lost his arm, which is still baffling to me that someone with a missing arm could become a Yonko. I don't know if it's because he's built different or if his crew's built different or both, but that's still impressive. Shout out to Shanks, the one-armed clapper. What do you think? He be clapping with them cheeks? For real? Stop playing. I'm just kidding. Pause. But it's not really that the fruit was under government protection. It's because Shanks was trying to go steal this fruit and he succeeded in doing it. But he had no idea Luffy was going to eat it. Now, someone had this really dark theory that said that Shanks only protected Luffy just because of how valuable this fruit was. And I was like, well, that's just not true, because if he wanted the fruit, he would have just let Luffy die. And then he would have just made sure that he got the fruit whenever it like went to the next person, unless he didn't understand how fruits worked. But that's just a really dark theory that I don't think is true. Shanks cares about Luffy, you know, like that's his man's. But is this fruit important? I do believe that, because once again in the Sun God Nika chapter, we find out something else about this fruit. But that's when we get the whole context that it was on the ship and they were trying to get it and things like that. But the fact that they brought it up in Wano in the same chapter as Sun God Nika says a lot to me. Because if you look at the image of Sun God Nika, the little silhouette, and this has been pointed out by everyone in the community, so you know what I'm going to say next, it looks like the little silhouette could have been rubber, or maybe some of the limbs were curved, and they resemble Luffy and Skypiea. So that brings us to our first thing, our first take, our first theory, I guess you could say. Is the Gum Gum fruits passed down through destiny or through lineage? Are Luffy's descendants or whoever are supposed to be the descendants of Joy Boy supposed to end up with the Gum Gum fruit? Is this a way for us to know who the next true descendant is? Well, there's a rebuttal to this theory off rip, because In my opinion, I feel like Roger, maybe even Nolan, could have been descendants of Joy Boy. I'm about 99% with Roger, maybe like 50-50 with Nolan, but I'm pretty sure that Roger was the descendant of Joy Boy before Luffy, if this whole descendant thing is even how the Joy Boy thing works. So I don't think you have to have the Gum Gum fruit to be the next Joy Boy. However, maybe the Gum Gum fruit is the missing piece to complete the cycle of who is Joy Boy, because Kaido says something very interesting. When he's talking to Luffy and Luffy's fighting him, he says, "It seems that you couldn't be Joy Boy either." And then I started thinking, just like the Drewski meme, what do you mean by that? What did Kaido mean by "it seems you couldn't be Joy Boy either"? Does this mean that Kaido has fought other people that were on the precipice of becoming the next Joy Boy but couldn't fulfill that prophecy? Or does this mean that he's fought a descendant of Joy Boy before and it didn't feel like Luffy was Joy Boy? The fact that he says you couldn't be Joy Boy either seems to be the latter. It seems to be that he's come across someone that was on the precipice of being Joy Boy or tapping into what Joy Boy is and couldn't do it. Who was this person? It's likely that it could have been Shanks. It's likely it could have been Roger, maybe Odin. But I think it was one of those individuals that we seen in the shadow silhouettes behind Luffy when Kaido talked about those that could harm him. It was one of our infamous conqueror coders. However, it doesn't matter who it is because it says Joy Boy either, meaning they failed, meaning that the Gum Gum fruit could indeed be the key to tapping into what Joy Boy is. Perhaps this fruit is something that is needed to fulfill this prophecy or to fulfill this rite of passage for whoever the next Joy Boy descendant is. That's one way to think of it. Another theory that I've seen people talk about is the fact that Joy Boy could be in the Gomu fruit. Now, I know this one is a little far-fetched and it sounds crazy, but hear me out. There has been a ton of theories about how the devil fruits themselves could pertain actual souls, or how devil fruits could manifest or be manifested by or controlled by these devil spirits. What if Joy Boy is the spirit that inhabits the Gomu fruit? I don't know if that is exactly what it's going to be like. And again, that one's more far-fetched, but I did think it was worth bringing up. Now, the most likely thing that makes this fruit important, and maybe why Vegapunk was studying it, is because of who had the Gum Gum fruit. I believe this Sun God Nika individual, whether it's Joy Boy or someone else that we don't know about, was brought up in this chapter with the Gum Gum fruit information for a reason, and that the silhouette looked rubbery just like that of Luffy and Skypiea for a reason. That Vegapunk got brought up with the Gum Gum fruits in 433 by Helmeppo for a reason. That Shanks was getting it for a reason, because whoever this important person was, whether it's Joy Boy or Sun God Nika, was maybe the original user of the Gum Gum fruit. And this fruit might be special because of that. Now, a lot of people say the suit doesn't make the man, and in this case, the devil fruit wouldn't make the man. But what if the man made the devil fruit? What if this Gum Gum fruit was like the original fruit? What if we find out that this is the first devil fruit ever made or ever harvested? I don't know if the devil fruits were grown with some magical seeds. I don't know if we got like some Jack and the Beanstalk story here, or like, you know, we got some Adam and Eve story where it's like forbidden fruits. I don't know what it's going to end up being. However, I do think it's possible that these devil fruits could have been brought by people of the past. People that are in the past but really feel like they've been living in the future. I mean, look at the moon. There's space robot pirates up there. There's vehicles like the Arc Maxim that gets created that can fly to the moon. And there's all this ancient technology that seems that it could be way ahead of its time. So who's to say these people from the past that were living like they were in the future didn't create these devil fruits? I mean, Vegapunk is working on them now. And even in one of the very current SBSs, Oda gets asked a question about how Caesar was working on devil fruits, or how we only see Zoan artificial fruits, and what about Paramecia and Logia, and he brings up that Caesar couldn't do it, but maybe the incredible Vegapunk could. If Vegapunk can create any type of devil fruits, who's to say that the way that he's creating them isn't how they were created initially? Oda said that the origin of devil fruits will be explained with Vegapunk. Well, what if Vegapunk says, this is the origin of devil fruits? I'm creating devil fruits and this is how those people created them as well. I say all that to say that maybe Luffy's devil fruit was the first devil fruit made. Maybe that's why it's so special. Now, I don't know if that means that there's something else special with the fruit that we have yet to see. I don't know if it's going to unlock this Joy Boy power that Kaido mentioned, but I do know that it's probably going to have something to do with Sun God Nika. I mean, why would he bring him up in the same chapter as I said earlier? Now, I do want to address some people's concerns. Some people don't want Luffy's fruit to be special because they feel like it'll take away from his hard work. Again, power creeps and power-ups happen in stories. Zoro gets Enma, which helps him train his haki flow, which helps him indirectly get stronger. Sanji gets a raid suit that instantly increases his speed, his durability, and even lets him be invisible. This has helped jumpstart his latent lineage factor abilities. Now he's getting a power creep. So Luffy finding out the truth about his fruits and there being something else that this fruit can do we don't know about would just be a power up. This is just regular things that happen in Battle Shonen. But that doesn't mean Luffy has been getting carried by his Gomu fruit. This fucking fruit isn't the Kyuubi. It's not like giving him infinite power and like making him stronger, but I do think it's special because of who may have had it first. But of course, these are just my thoughts on the Gomu Gomu, the Gum fruit, the rubber Hisoka fruit. I'm just kidding. But these are my thoughts, but I want to know all of yours. So make sure you comment down below, let me know. Also, my Discord and Twitch links are in my pinned comment. Make sure you hit those. Follow me on Twitch and join the Discord. And as always, I hope you all are staying safe and healthy during these trying times. This has been Synsei Inc., and I will see you all in the next video.